Have you ever wondered why the heart is commonly shaped like this? Well, Aristotle thought that the heart was made up of 3 chambers, giving it its popular shape. Even though it's still used as a symbol of love, the heart actually looks very different. The heart is in the middle of the chest, beside the lungs, and it's inside of the thoracic cavity, surrounded by the ribs. The veins carry deoxygenated blood back to the heart so it can be oxygenated. Because veins have very little pressure, they have valves so that the blood cannot move backwards. Arteries do the opposite. They move oxygenated blood away from the heart. They don't need valves because their pressure is very high. This is the main artery called the aorta, and this is the primary vein called the vena cava. This whole thing is the aortic arch, and it contains the brachiocephalic artery, the left common carotid, and the left subclavian artery. This is the dorsal aorta, which branches into many arteries in the lower parts of your body, such as the renal artery and the supramesenteric artery. This is the pulmonary trunk, which divides into the 2 pulmonary arteries which go to each lung. This is the septum, and in between it are the coronary vessels. These coronary vessels supply the heart with blood and oxygen, allowing the heart to contract. The heart has 4 body cavities. The top 2 are the atria, and the bottoms are the ventricle. The heart has 2 valves in between the atria and the ventricles. The one on the right is called the tricuspid valve, and the one on the left is called the bicuspid. It is called the bicuspid valve because it has 2 cusps, whereas the tricuspid one has 3 of them. There's also the aortic and pulmonary semilunar valves, which take the blood from the ventricles into the main arteries. Let's start with the flow of deoxygenated blood through the right side of the heart. So the blood enters from the superior and the inferior vena cava from the systemic circuit. This blood is deoxygenated. The blood goes into the right atrium where it starts to accumulate. Once the pressure increases enough, the tricuspid valve, which is in between the right atrium and the right ventricle, will allow the blood to go into the right ventricle. When the heart contracts, it's systolic, and when it relaxes, it's diastolic. When the pressure increases enough, the heart will pump the blood into the pulmonary semilunar valve, and it will go out through the pulmonary artery. From there, it will go to the lungs to get oxygenated by capillary beds. Next, it comes in through the pulmonary veins, where it enters into the left atria. From the left atria, it goes down through the bicuspid valve into the left ventricle. Again, when the pressure of the right ventricle increases enough, the heart contracts and the blood goes up through the aortic semilunar valve into the aorta, where it goes all throughout the body through 4 main arteries. There are the 3 branching from the aortic arch and the dorsal aorta. From there, the blood circulates through the body and delivers its oxygen to all of your cells, and the cycle starts again. This is just the beginning of the heart flow. There is so much more involved in the process. Thanks for joining me while I explain the basic blood flow through the heart.